Support for NPR comes from Cancer Treatment Centers of America, where treatment options include targeted therapies guided by genomic testing and immunotherapies that use the body's immune system to help fight the cancer. More at cancercenter.com.
Hey, thanks for listening to Car Talk. Now, if you're looking for stuff to listen to that doesn't insult your intelligence, there's a great app for your phone. It's NPR One. It's got hand-curated artisanal suggestions to help you find the best from public radio and beyond, with podcasts and news. NPR One is ready when you are. That's NPR ONE on your app store. Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us. My brother was playing air banjo along with the music.
And changing chords quite deftly, I thought.
I think you played a wrong chord there. I wasn't sure.
No, I played the C, and then I put the little finger down for the boom, 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 boom part.
Anyway, we're Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the International Sports Marketing Division here at Car Talk Plaza.
I want to test your marketing abilities. I'm going to give you an example.
They're weak, I can tell you that right now.
There are many countries that have sports teams of various kinds, and they have to come up with a name which is compelling, memorable, and all that stuff.
Exactly, sure.
For example, in Brussels, they have a team called the Brussels Sprouts. Of course. Okay, help me out here. You know the capital of Taiwan.
Taipei.
What do you think the name of their team is?
Taipei. I haven't got
Taipei Personalities. How about Amsterdam?
I give.
The Yankees, man. The Amsterdam Yankees. Well, this is simple.
I can see. I'm not in the groove here.
This is simple. Vienna. This should be the Red Sox. The Vienna sausages. And the Belgian waffles, of course. How about the Philippines? The capital is Manila.
Right. The Manila envelopes.
Manila folders. Very good. And, of course, Czechoslovakia. That's a simple one. Czech.
Checks in the mail.
Bouncers. The Czech bouncers. This is a tough one. The New Delhi.
The New Delhi.
Contestants.
Delhi contestants.
It took Louie and me 20 minutes to figure that out. Oh, by the way, this was sent to us by Tony Coolman from cyberspace. Let's see what else we have. Oh, yeah. Bolivia. You won't get this one. I'll have to help you.
The Bolivia Watch Company. I bought one of those once.
No, this is the Bolivia de Havilland. And then we got Prague, the capital of
Czechoslovakia. It's one of those Czechs. Rice Czechs.
One of those Czech capitals. Yeah. The proctologists. Not bad.
Not good.
Not bad at all.
Well, look, if you have a question about your car or anything else, the number to call is 888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255.
Guys make money coming up with stuff like this.
Proctologists. Oh, God. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Randy, and I'm calling from Atlanta.
Randy?
Atlanta.
Yes. Atlanta.
That's usually a guy's name, Randy, isn't it?
It is usually a guy's name.
Randolph.
So what is your real name?
My real name is Randy, and guess how it's spelled?
Oh.
With a Y.
Well, why? That's
really?
Exactly how I wrote it.
I did too,
Well,
because I didn't.
Wrandy.
Well, it's a little unusual. You must admit.
No, I agree, and you can take it up with my parents, and I have.
Yeah, sure. Well,
It's too late now, though.
So how's everything in Atlanta?
Everything is great except for my car.
Oh,
really?
Sorry to hear it.
Yes, I'm sad. I have a Honda Civic. It has 122,000 miles on it, and the oil light keeps coming on.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's been about 6 months with this.
Oh.
So we finally bring it in, and our favorite mechanic left the dealership that we go to. So we see whoever's left, which was maybe a mistake. But
where did he go? Do you know?
Join the Navy.
No, we wish we could find him. We would just go to him.
Yeah, what's his name?
Michael.
Michael! Pull
All
him
right.
to the nearest port. You know he's on a boat somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
He's He got enough money. He paid for the boat, and he took off. He's probably in Tahiti right now.
Oh, what a guy.
Okay, so Michael's
anyway.
gone. You bring it into the dealer.
Right. They say we need to replace the distributor for $500. So we do that, and the oil light goes off, and everything's great for about 2 weeks. And then the light comes back on again. We bring it back in. They say, oh, well, you know what? We forgot to replace the gaskets when we did the distributor. We'll do that, but we'll do it for free.
Free. Free is good.
Yeah, free's good. It worked for us. So the light went off for maybe 2 weeks. And then it came back on again. And, we kept putting oil in it, and it would stay off for like 3 days, and then it would come back on. So we finally bring it in again.
When you put oil in it, was it down?
Yeah,
like a quart?
You would check the dipstick, and it would say, I need oil.
Yeah.
So the light was only on when you were low on oil.
Right. The light wasn't lying to us. Like, we needed oil.
Got it.
But and there was no like oil leak. There was no pile oil in our garage or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So we bring it in, and they say, okay, it's burning oil, and you need to something with the camshaft. You need to replace the camshaft. It's going to cost $1,700. But you really shouldn't do that on a car this age. If you're going to do that, you may as well go ahead and overhaul the engine.
That's
$4,000.
$3,700.
Yes.
Yeah.
$4,000 is what they told us.
I gave you the
You were being generous.
professional
Gave it the
discount.
student rate.
Yeah.
So here's where we are. And I went out and bought a case of oil. It's in the trunk. Can I just pour a quart of oil in it once a week and just live my life? Or will that be a problem?
Well, does your life involve driving the car?
Yeah, fortunately it does.
Because that's central to the whole decision-making process here. And how far do you drive in a week?
Well, actually, my husband usually drives it, and he travels a lot for work, so he drives it a lot.
That's too
But
bad.
now I'm letting him take my car, so it could be a local car if we needed to.
Oh, I would do that.
Okay.
I would do that, in which case you might be able to get away with doing nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, first of all,
You certainly don't want to do the camshaft.
even their diagnosis about the camshaft is
Bogus.
not going to help the problem.
No.
The camshaft is not causing it to burn oil.
Okay.
The thing is burning oil undoubtedly because the rings are gone. So even if you were to spend the $1,700, you would be 3 times as disappointed as you were spending the $500 for the distributor.
Yeah.
And the distributor got replaced, I suspect, because it was leaking oil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the seal was gone, and when they put the new one in, they probably forgot to put the O-ring on it, which is the oil seal for the distributor. Although I think it comes with it. Maybe they lost it.
Someone had to take it. Maybe someone took it off and wear it as a ring. Maybe he was getting married that afternoon. What do we know?
So if you were going to do anything to this, I would certainly rebuild the entire engine or install a used engine.
Okay.
That's an option, which the dealer wouldn't give you because they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You said if I go out and buy a case of oil, can I go on and live my life? And I think the answer is yes.
For the next 3 months.
3 months. But I was going to ask how long is
For
my
whatever.
life that way.
Yeah, I would say 3 to 6 months before something catastrophic happens.
Okay.
At which time you go to the junkyard and you get yourself an engine for $722, and you have Murray put it in.
Michael.
Michael.
But try keeping the oil level up. You might want to try switching to 2050 motor oil.
2050. Okay.
Yeah, that may help.
Well, we'll try it.
Yeah, but you certainly don't let your husband drive it those many
Okay.
miles that he drives it.
Okay.
See you, Randy.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
My name is Connie, and I'm in Long Beach, California.
Hi, Connie. Boy, you sound so clear.
I do.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's
I'm
like
very
you're...
coherent. And
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, the connection sounds so clear. It's like you're right in the same room with us.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible, but
Oh, and you have such a sweet voice.
well, thank you.
So what's up, Connie?
Well, I have a car problem, and
Yeah.
after this call, I'm probably going to have a marital problem.
Cool.
Yeah, see, you're gonna entice something here.
Hey, my brother loves to make trouble.
Oh, he's going to make trouble on this one, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
I'm desperate.
All right.
I have an '87 Jeep Cherokee, Laredo. About 5 years ago, it initially started idling really high on rainy days. It would run like 20 RPM when you first started it. So my husband, who happens to be an auto shop teacher,
Oh.
and this is why it's going to cause problems.
This is going to be ugly.
Oh, I know. See, I've been threatened if I make this call. And
So you started it up on a rainy day, and it was idle really, really slowly, and then vroom, go way up high.
it would start out high.
Oh, it start out
Start
high.
out really high, and it would go for a few minutes, and then it would slow down.
Yeah.
Now, At that point, he changed the throttle position sensor,
Oh, very good.
and that fixed it until December this year when it started doing it again.
Uh-huh.
Now, he didn't want to mess with it this time. I took it into a Jeep repair shop,
Yeah.
and they replaced it a second time.
Okay.
So that was fine until 2 months later when it started doing it again. Now, when I took it back in and I thought that they were going to say, oh, it was defective or something and give me something free, I ended up paying $300 for a new idle bypass motor. Now, here's the clincher. When I handed him my check for $300, he says, if it does it again, you better think about getting a new car.
And it's this way to the showroom.
No kidding. Does it still only happen in the rain?
No, now it happens inconsistently.
Oh, good.
But it'll go down the street by itself. I don't, I have the brake on and I'm going down the street,
Yeah.
If I turn the motor off and on, it'll eventually stop. Are you stumped?
Not yet.
No. Well, yeah.
We are stumped temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have your husband online, too. Seeing if he
That's
can
what
help
he's
us.
afraid of, I think. That's what he's
Well, I'm going to take a stab here.
Go ahead. We need a stab. We need one.
I think it's the computer.
The computer?
Yeah.
Is there a main computer? Or
Yes, there is a main. There's a New Hampshire computer.
Vermont.
No, there is a computer,
Okay.
and it controls all the functions of all of these things, like the idle air control and the idle speed control, or the bypass, whatever they call it, the air bypass thing. The computer sends a signal to this bypass valve, which can boost the idle speed, and it may be that it's sending the wrong signal to these things some of the time. I think the first time that they quote fixed it, it was just luck.
Okay.
I don't think they fixed anything.
You're going to have trouble explaining all of
I
this.
am, and I'm hoping that we run out of time. So is it time for a commercial break?
No, there is no commercial break, and we.
I have a fallback position.
Oh, I hope so. The computer. Wow.
Well, there is one other possibility that you may have a bad ground connection someplace, and a bad underhood ground.
I like this much better.
Can cause all kinds of erratic behavior like this. So it may be that there should be a place where there are a bunch of ground wires connected to the block of a cylinder head. Have your husband, if he hasn't already done so.
This is a job for your husband, not the dealer.
Okay.
Take those wires off and clean them all up, and maybe run another ground between the firewall, for example, and the cylinder head.
Okay.
And bad grounds can make all kinds of peculiar behaviors like this. And I have to slap my wrist
I love
for not
this.
coming up with that first.
I love this answer.
But when that isn't it, throw a new computer in there, Connie.
Okay.
All righty?
All right. Thanks a million.
See ya.
Yeah, say hello to your husband.
I will.
Have him call.
Talk to me. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, guys. It's Jim Davis calling up from the Car Talk Chemical Labs.
Jim,
Professor.
baby!
This is Professor Jim Davis from the
G-
world's
W-
greatest university.
WGU.
WGU.
Not GW.
Well, I hear you have another question about radiator fluids. Could you bring me up to date?
Up to speed, so to speak? Yes.
I wish I could remember what it was.
We received
Oh,
a phone
that
call
one.
from some guy who was traveling in some forsaken place in Utah, Canyonlands, around Moab, and the vehicle began to overheat. And at the direction of his, I believe, girlfriend, he was required to relieve himself into the radiator to make up for some liquid lost for some reason we don't know. And he wanted to know what effect might this have on his cooling system, which is obviously consists of cast iron, aluminum, and perhaps even copper. And rubber hoses.
And rubber hoses.
And ethylene glycol antifreeze. And we knew, Jim, that you'd be up to it.
Oh, well, I assume, knowing you guys, that you told him to flush the radiator.
Yes.
Well, he suggested that himself.
He said, don't tell me to flush the radiator. So he beat us to it on that one.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyhow, I guess it's better than nothing, but you should be aware, he should be aware, that salty water is more corrosive either than tap water or distilled water.
Salty.
So if this is an emergency fix on the road, I guess, as I say, it's better than nothing, but he ought to flush the radiator seriously,
Wow.
clean it out, and put a fresh supply of coolant in there.
Now, how much
salt is in there?
The average
what do you call it?
release.
Release is good.
It's certainly a percent or so. I haven't actually figured it out. It can vary considerably depending on how hot it is, how much he's been sweating. In other words, how concentrated
it
the
could be
urine
pretty
is.
concentrated. And I believe it was rather hot, which means he had been perspiring a lot, and therefore the stuff inside would have been concentrated.
Yeah. Well,
what salts do we have in there?
Well, mostly sodium chloride, but there also are other salts.
And, of course, there's uric acid. I never thought of that.
Yes, there's a certain amount of that in there. But it's really the saltiness of it that's the only real concern. That and maybe a little bit of smell, too, that would be a factor.
And the saltiness would be a problem because it would ionize and therefore set up a little
Yeah, salt water is a conductor of electricity, and corrosion is an electrochemical process which is hastened by saltiness. That's why things corrode more in seawater than in river water.
Exactly. That's why we should take the fleet out of the Atlantic.
Well,
Italians
they do have to take steps to prevent the corrosion.
Well, Jim...
there's another point that occurred to me that's probably worth mentioning, and that is if any of your listeners or you guys yourselves find yourself in this situation, I think it's very important to go into a can or bottle first and then pour it into the radiator.
Yes.
The reason is a stream of salty water is an excellent conductor of electricity, and should the stream accidentally be misdirected over to the battery cables, you could get quite a jolt from doing it.
I don't need to go any further. No need to go a step further. Oh, my God.
But,
wow.
I think your guy should clean the radiator out as soon as he gets the chance.
Well, Jim, thank you, as always,
Dr. Jim,
for your very capable analysis of a complex social problem.
You are most welcome.
Hey, what do you do when you're not consulting to us? Do we pay you enough that it doesn't matter?
You certainly do. I am certainly worth what you pay me. Okay.
We've always felt that way, Jim.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, thanks a lot for calling.
Okay, bye.
All right, look it. I have to ask you, did you forget last week's puzzler?
Absolutely.
Excellent. All's right with the world, then.
Remind me, what was it?
Actually, last week's puzzler was about the outside temperature, remember?
Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Yes. And we'll be back with the answer and more of your calls in a minute.
Got a bastion fender and an oil leak. Blue book value is mighty weak. A chassis is rusty and the body's beat. I'm so cheap, but she thinks it's sweet. She likes to see me drive up in my dad car. Dad car. Dad car.
And even though Christopher Columbus rues the day he asked Enzo Magliozzi to point him in the direction of India whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Tire Rack. Now, if you're like me and you own a car, you've probably done something dumb to it. Like the time I ran out of oil and used a quart of Filippo Berio extra virgin olive oil as a substitute. Well, Tire Rack makes it easy to be smart when it comes to your tires. At TireRack.com, you can look up the correct tires for your car and pick the best ones based on ratings and reviews. Plus, your new tires can be delivered in as little as 1 business day to a recommended local installer. So even if you forget to release the parking brake or send your brother's 65 AMC Ambassador to the crusher, you can still redeem yourself by getting the right tires. TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install smarter. Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and the answer to last week's puzzler. And this was a non-automotive puzzler, and lots of people had sent this in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Must have appeared on some other website and they stole it.
Probably. Anyway, here it is.
Yeah.
Stevie decided it was time to take his motorcycle to work. It had been in the garage all winter, and finally the weather had gotten nice. So after a little tinkering, he fires it up and off he goes. Anyway, he's enjoying the beautiful sunshine and the warm air, and he comes to an intersection that he goes through every day. But on this day, because he's on the bike, he's noticing things he hadn't, usually noticed. And on a building to the right is one of those big signs that displays the time and the temperature.
Yeah.
It flashes, and he says, geez, I guess I'm really late for work. Then the temperature comes up in Fahrenheit. And then a few seconds later, it comes up in centigrade. And he says, that's interesting. The digits are exactly reversed. For example, if it had said 31 degrees Fahrenheit, when it showed the centigrade reading, it said 13.
Yeah.
Right? And they can only be reversed if it's a 2-digit number.
Sure.
He says, geez, I've never seen that before. Anyway, the light turns green, off he goes to work. And because he got to work so late, he decides to stay late and realizes that he should have listened to the weather forecast, because when he comes out of work, it's drizzly and rainy and cold. But he gets back on his motorcycle, and he's riding home, and guess what?
Same intersection,
and he thinks, what are the chances I'd ever see that happen again? Well, it's certainly not going to happen now, because it's a lot cooler than it was this morning when the sun was out.
Yeah.
He sees the temperature in Fahrenheit, and then the temperature in centigrade. And again, it's the digits reversed.
Get out.
What are the chances of that? So the question is, what was the temperature in the morning when he went to work, and what was the temperature when he went home? And we'll accept the answer in either Fahrenheit.
Because we know the conversion, man.
Now, I don't know if there's an algebraic way to solve this, but I know how I solved it. I put the two thermometers next to each other. And it turns out that in the morning, when the sun was out and it was balmy, it was 28 degrees Celsius, which is 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And, of course, you're assuming that the whatever algorithm the thing is using is rounding off to the closest whole number, you know.
Sure, and it is.
And at night, when he came home, and it was drizzly and raining and ugly, it was 16 degrees and 61 degrees. Wow. Cool, huh?
And you have...
It only works.
Corroborate.
Well, I did the math, yeah. It only works if the number is 2.
Well, that's my question.
Well, I think
these are the only two?
It has to be between 50 and 99 Fahrenheit, right? Because below 50 is 10 degrees centigrade.
Right.
So you can't reverse the digits if it's 9 degrees centigrade. There's nothing to reverse.
Right.
So between 50 and 99, which is the only possible range here, these are the only temperatures, in my humble opinion, where they're reversed.
And you're sticking with that.
Oh, man, you know, I've never been... The only time I was sure of something was that thing with the mangoes. Anyway, who's our winner?
The winner is Colleen Novak. She's Kim's daughter.
Yes.
From Atlanta, Georgia. And for having her answer selected at random from among all the correct answers that we got, Colleen will get, as you know, a $25 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division at CarTalk.com. And with that gift certificate, she can get a copy of our CD, Car Talk Cartoons, the Car Talk Compendium of Disrespectful Car Songs. Wow.
And what might you find on that collection?
Well, here's a couple of titles. My Car's Going Under the Wrench. That's a song about a heap. It's a Rental. That's a song about a car that becomes a heap over the course of a weekend. And the Duct Tape Madrigal in C major. That's about how a car remains a heap. You get the idea, you know?
We'll have a brand new puzzler coming up in the third half. Yes, the third half. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, our number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Joe from Boise.
How you doing, Joe?
Geez, we haven't had a call from Boise in months.
Really?
David's saying last week we had one. Oh, all right, we haven't had one in a week. What's going on, Joe?
I have a 1990 Dodge Colt that my daughter drives, and it pops out of fourth gear when you're going along.
Oh, man.
And my buddy says that whole transmission's gone. And I say I just need to replace the clutch.
Well, he's more right than you.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Wait, is this a 90? Is this a 4-speed or a 5?
4-speed.
It's a 4-speed. This isn't a Vista. This is just a plain old garden variety Colt.
Yeah.
I think this car cost $88.88 when that was $88.88.
It was less.
Yeah.
Same now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, this is one of those things that...
I don't mind it popping out of fourth gear because I'm not sure my daughter should be driving in fourth gear. But
oh, she's a teenager?
Yeah.
If it's your daughter's car, I'm not going to suggest anything crazy.
Yeah, he was going to suggest
bungee cords were involved.
The 2x4 wedged between, because fourth is down and to the right. He was going to suggest the 2x4 wedged between the radio and the gear shift lever.
No. Yeah. This was the bungee cord attached to the bottom of the seat. You can just see it. It's poetry, It's just right.
Well, it's popping out of fourth gear not because of the clutch, but because there's something wrong inside the transmission. Okay, and the synchronizer for fourth is gone, and that's actually popping it out. Okay, now you can live with it, obviously, but if you have a young person driving the car, it's bad enough that they're unsure about everything else that's going on. You don't want her to have to contend with wedging the 2x4 in there too.
Yeah. She's driving my wife's car now.
And you're driving the Colt?
Yeah.
Well,
lucky you.
All right, the 2x4 has to be 18 and a half inches long then. But you and your buddy have some experience working on cars?
Yeah, we mucked around with this particular car.
I'm going to suggest that you go to your local junkyard and you try to find a used transmission.
Oh, okay.
And you and your buddy can put this thing up on jack stands.
In the front yard, of course.
Of course. You never do it in the back. You always do it in the front where the neighbors can come by and kibitz.
No, where they can see when the car falls on top of you.
Yeah.
You don't want to be buried in the trees in the back.
That's true.
When I say buried, I mean buried.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But jack this thing up, throw some stands underneath it, and then you have to pull out the two axles, remove the shifter linkage, take out the starter motor, and you're going to pull the whole transmission out. And if you buy a clutch, you might as well put a clutch in at the same time.
Yeah.
But assuming that you find the transmission, do that. Otherwise, you won't waste your time because it ain't the clutch that's doing it.
All right.
But if you're going to put a transmission in, you might as well put a clutch in. It's ready.
You cost me an adult beverage now.
I know. I'm sorry.
An adult beverage.
See you, Joe.
Good luck, Joe.
Thanks for your call.
I knew we were going to like him. What is it about guys named Joe?
Just ordinary Joes.
Just ordinary Joes. Man.
1-888-CAR-TALK.
Wait. I got mail to read. I've got mail.
Oh, go ahead. I'll take a nap.
All right.
Wait when you get within 50.
Actually,
when you get to like 15 minutes.
You might like this, actually.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm trying to figure out who sent it to us. It says it was from Robert Walsh, but then it also says it was from 8 other people as well. So who knows?
Oh, it's a chain letter.
Okay, here we are. I was flying from San Francisco to Los Angeles. By the time we took off, there had been a 45-minute delay, and everybody on board was not happy.
Of course.
Unexpectedly, we had to make a stop in Sacramento on the way.
Now, I just interject here that if this were an Amtrak train, a 45-minute delay.
Funny, they don't even count that. Also, I want to know, how come you end up in Sacramento if you're flying from San Francisco to L.A., but that's beside the point.
The Great Circle route.
Yeah. The flight attendant explained there would be another 45-minute delay, and if we wanted to get off the plane, we could reboard in 30 minutes. Everyone got off the plane except one gentleman who was blind. I noticed him as I walked by, and his seeing-eye dog lay quietly underneath the seats in front of him. I could also tell that he had flown this very flight before because the pilot approached him and, calling him by name, said, "Keith, we're in Sacramento for almost an hour. Would you like to get off and stretch your legs?" Keith says, "No, thanks, but maybe my dog would like to stretch
The
his
dog's
legs."
going to take a leak. Sorry.
So picture this. Everyone in the gate area comes to a complete quiet standstill when they look up and see the pilot walking off the plane with a seeing-eye dog. And he's wearing sunglasses. People scattered. Not only were they trying to change planes, they were trying to change airlines. See? I mean, he maybe didn't even think of the effect that could have.
I'm sure he figured it out within about 8 seconds. He lost his wings.
I mean, I just wonder, is there an analogy here in the automotive field, so to speak? Like, when you when people bring their cars in and you say, "Igor, do a tune-up."
Yes, master. Yes, master. Now, remember, my brother loves mail. So if you've got something he can read, preferably something with pictures, send it to him at Good Mail.
Involving Spot and Run Spot.
Good Mail Division, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238. Or, of course, you can email him stuff from cartalk.com. If you'd like to call us, you can call 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello.
Hi. Hey.
Hey, what are y'all doing?
Not much. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm calling to find out if you guys know the number of a good exorcist for my car.
Yes, we do. My sister is in that business.
Well, what time zone are you in?
We're in the Central time zone.
Central.
So you're calling from Chicago.
No, I'm calling from Texas.
Texas?
Texas? Yeah, what's your name?
My name's Robin.
Robin from Texas.
Yes.
What part? North, south?
Oh, I'm on the beautiful shores of Lake Tawakoni. We're kind of like northeast.
There's a lake in Texas?
Oh,
Texas has
is
thousands of
tons
lakes.
of lakes.
No kidding.
Way.
That's why it's called the land of lakes.
Yes.
No, that's not it.
Oh,
No?
not.
Isn't there another land of lakes?
Yeah, there is, but there...
That's the butter
That's
people
butter,
you're
yeah.
thinking of.
So you
No,
need
I
an
have-
exorcist. What kind of a car is it?
Oh, man, I got an 89 Volkswagen Fox.
Oh.
Oh, you don't need an exorcist. You need an arsonist.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love this car. all
No,
right?
you can't. That's not a car to love.
You may love it. You may love it. We will stipulate that.
Yeah,
That
okay.
you love it.
All right, so
Okay.
what's the deal? Tell us the entire story with all the gory details. Leave nothing out.
All right.
Because we've got nothing but time.
Okay, great. About a month ago, right?
Oh, I'm
Driving up the
sorry.
road,
About a month ago.
and it started.
I
jerking
lost
to
you when
the-
you said about a month ago. Can you pick up from there?
Well, the whole problem is, it's like it goes in like 1 week intervals. It's an intermittent problem in like 1 week intervals.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I love
So
these
jerking
problems.
to the left, right? So I get the car home, and I said to my husband, "There's something wrong with this car. Go out and drive it." So he goes out and drives it and comes back. Goes, "There's nothing wrong with the car." Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it must have just been the road or
What did
something.
you? It was pulling to the left. Is that
Pulling
what?
to the left. It started pulling to the left very subtly.
Yeah.
So I go
Subtly.
about a week, and I was going to one of my customer accounts, and all of a sudden, this car starts like the wheels like jerking to the left.
Yeah.
So I pull into the Firestone, and they look at it, and the guy says, "Oh, your strut mount is messed up." So he says, "You need to have this left strut mount replaced." So I call my mechanic, and I said, "You think I can get it home?" And he says, "Just drive real slow. It's about an hour," and that's the whole other thing behind this. Never really does this unless I've been driving for at least an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it back down to him. I tell Harold everything that's going on. So he puts the thing on.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
Doesn't fix it.
No, it doesn't fix it. About a week later,
Yeah.
it starts doing it again, right?
Yeah.
So I took it back in to my mechanic, and his theory was
Yeah. Yeah.
the CV axle is heating up and doing something weird because there's not enough lubricant in there, or I have a separated tread that doesn't really start to separate until the tire gets hot.
I like both
Now,
of these.
they switched my tires out,
Excellent.
okay, front and back, and I went and had a front end alignment,
Yeah.
took it back to where I bought the tires,
Let me guess.
told the guy,
Does the same thing.
well, it hasn't done it yet.
Oh, this
Okay.
is a preemptive strike then, calling
Why-
us.
Ah, okay.
My question to you is, my mechanic said he could inject some grease into the CV boot, but he hates to do that because then it will break the seal and therefore mess up the integrity.
Yeah, it's like giving your CV joint a cortisone shot.
Oh, okay. What do you guys suggest that I do?
I don't like any of these theories.
Well, I do like the CV joint theory, actually.
I liked it, but I don't like it anymore.
Well, I like it, but I wouldn't have him squirt anything in there. I'd have him actually maybe even take the axle out, which doesn't take that long.
Okay.
In a half an hour, you can have the thing out and on the bench, and you can tell if either of the joints is bound up.
Okay.
And if either one is bound up, then it would be the equivalent. It would feel like you had the brake on that left front wheel.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, but explain the hour.
You got to heat up. Got to expand. Got to get hot. Friction, heat, friction.
Nah.
I like it.
I don't like it.
I like it. I mean, I assume.
Have you ever seen a CV joint do that? In all your thousands of years of experience, your millions of miles of experience with CV joints, have you ever heard of a CV joint that went for an hour and suddenly started dragging?
Well, not really.
If I wasn't here to keep you honest, what would happen?
No, but this is, my brother doesn't understand
There's the
science.
One in a million.
You've got to understand that this is what's called a breakthrough. I I mean, if it weren't for this, if it weren't for the things that happen one time in a million, we'd be still hunting wild boar with sticks. Jeez. Here's what you do next time.
You got to have it fixed.
Have you drive it around and get the thing to get at its worst.
Okay.
And then go to Harold.
Immediately go into the guy. Go to Harold. Have him throw it up on the lift and see if one of the wheels is harder to turn than the other.
Okay, well, I think he's already done that.
And and he feels that it's the axle still, the CV joint.
That's his.
Well, then I'd have him throw another one in there.
Put another CV axle.
A whole axle.
Yeah.
So you think a CV axle then?
Well, it's CV joint.
CV joint.
Which is part of the axle, but they'll replace the entire axle.
Okay.
Good luck, Robin.
Thank you.
Good luck is right.
Good luck. I'm going to need it.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, it's time to take a short break.
Right. My brother's going to meditate until a new puzzle just sort of comes to him, you know?
Or until I keel over and bump my head on the microphone. We'll be back in a minute.
I have seen on this highway some very fast cars trying to find their way through. With all of that muscle and all of that power, as if they had something to prove. Some of them drive like there'll be no tomorrow. Maybe for some that is true. Maybe that next shooting star in the sky will be you.
And even though Goodwill Industries gets a rash of donated radios whenever we say it, this is NPR.
Hey, if Car Talk doesn't fill your weekly quota of gas bags arguing with each other, 2016's second presidential debate is coming up on Sunday, October 9th. Do you want to sit through the whole thing? Well, of course not. So on Monday morning, the NPR Politics Podcast will tell you everything you need to know. They're providing new podcasts the morning after every debate this year, so you'll always know who lied, who sniffed, and who shimmied. Make the NPR Politics Podcast part of your post-debate morning routine by subscribing at iTunes or listen on the NPR One app. Ha! What? We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new puzzler.
Yeah, okay, I can hardly wait.
All right. Well, I realized that I haven't really done any automotive puzzles for a long time because really a good automotive puzzle. So
yeah, well, you haven't been to work for 2 months. That'll do it. I mean, you forget. Yeah.
A customer who shall remain nameless called up the other day and said that a brake job we had done had gone awry. We had done a brake job on his old Volvo, and we had put on new pads and new disc rotors, and it was all right for several months. And then Dick says, "Oh, did I say nameless?" He says, "Gee, now when I step on the brakes," he said, I get a rumbling. And he said, "And the harder I step on the brakes, the worse it is. In fact, I don't really feel it at low speeds or if I step on the brake gently, even at high speeds. But if I really lay onto the brakes, I feel that shuddering in the car."
Yeah.
He says, "One of those new discs must be warped." And we say, "I doubt it." Anyway, he brings the car in, and we drive it around, and sure enough, he's right. It is doing the rumbling. Classic symptom, a warped disc.
Yeah.
We put the car up.
Those are pretty hefty discs.
Those are hefty, meaty, beefy discs.
Those are hefty, meaty, beefy. They're no cheap little Yugo.
No.
Those are serious.
Yeah, Yugos, they get the rejects from IHOP. And they slap a brake caliper.
You can still read Coca-Cola on some of them.
Anyway, we put the dial indicator on it and determined that there's nothing wrong with the disc.
Oh, of course.
All perfect.
If you had, there would be no puzzler.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
And we check all the bushings because a bad tie rod end or a ball joint or control arm bushing or a bad strut mount, anything can cause this vibration. We check everything. And we can find nothing wrong, but to humor him, we put 4 new discs on.
You do?
Not really. We just told him. We put 4 new discs on, figuring that maybe one of our instruments is off a little bit.
Yeah.
We drive the car, of course, what?
Same thing.
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Back up on the lift it goes, and hours go by, and we have Ralph chained to his toolbox until he figures this out. He's standing there, and he's right in the middle of the car.
Was he lying down?
No, he's standing. The car's on the lift. He's standing there right smack in the middle of the car with wrenches in hand, and he's ready to remove something.
Yeah.
And I say to him, what are you doing? He says,
This is it.
I know what's wrong with it. What's he going to remove, and why does it fix it? Now, if you think you know the answer and you feel like taking a guess, mail your answer to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge,
Our Fair City,
Ma 02238, or you can email us your answer from our website, cartalk.com. If you'd like to call us, the number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Jim from Winters, California.
Jim.
Winters.
Yes, Winters.
Well, that must be a cruel joke. Where were you, in Southern California?
Well, it gets down to the 50s in the winter, so
tough.
Pretty tough.
Oh, Northern California.
Northern California, yeah.
How north? You know,
north of San Francisco and
oh, really? Way
west
up there.
of Sacramento.
Oh, I know where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right where all the earthquakes, earthquake epicenters are. They're right there, aren't they?
Well, I guess so. We were destroyed by earthquake, I guess, about 100 years ago. So.
Yeah, well, you got plenty of time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those only come like
years.
every 100 years. Those big earthquakes, so I don't think there's too much to sweat. So what's up? What's up?
Well, I have an 86 Toyota 4Runner. It's had this problem for about 2 or 3 years where occasionally it just won't start. You can't jump start it. That doesn't make a difference. It still won't start. However, yesterday I discovered that you could go around the ignition system. You know, you can go straight to from the battery to the starter, and it starts up.
Good.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
And it only happens once in a while.
Who taught you how to do the jump to the starter, to hyperspace?
The guys at our local auto parts store.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to hot wire cars and everything.
Oh, and they didn't try. Oh, these guys should
But
have.
why didn't they sell you the piece that you need?
Which is a remote starter switch.
Yeah, what's wrong with the remote starter switch? You need a starter relay.
A starter relay?
Well, you may.
A solenoid.
You may, but I think it's more likely you need the starter motor.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, now, I can start it if I go past the ignition switch and all the other electrical stuff that's on there to the starter, then the starter turns over fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it turns over fine a lot of other times, too. In other words, it doesn't always misbehave when you turn the key. And it may be that just jumping right from the starter hot wire to the solenoid wire is enough to get the thing kicked over. Whereas when you make the electrons go the whole route through the key and the relay and all that jazz,
they get tired.
They get tired, and they don't make it. And it doesn't energize the solenoid. And if the solenoid doesn't get energized, the thing won't fire up.
Okay.
This has a gear reduction starter, and these starters are famous for having exactly the problem you described. The way to solve the problem is the next time it won't start, have an assistant get in the thing and turn the key while you tap the starter motor with a rock.
With your shoe.
You know, a rock would be good.
I don't want to destroy the starter. I just want to give it a little.
Yeah,
right.
you just want to give
so
it a
while
nudge.
the person is holding the key all the way to crank, you give it a shot with the rock or with a small hammer or whatever, and it'll fire right up, and that'll tell you that the starter's NG.
Okay.
That's technical lingo for no good.
All right. You write that down.
See you, Jim.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All righty.
Good luck, Jim.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
1-888-227-8255. That's 1-888-CAR-TALK. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, my name is Sue, and I'm calling from Arlington, Virginia.
Hi, Sue.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
What's going on?
Well, the question I have for you is part relationship dilemma and part philosophical conundrum.
Oh, man. This is the kind of question that we get into so much trouble with.
Does it do with the spouse? Relate that kind of...
No. Well, I think you'll be safe on this one. The problem is that my boyfriend thinks that I'm a terrible driver. And, you know, he's wonderful. He's supportive in every way. He's just afraid to get in the car with me, basically.
Afraid.
Actually afraid.
The thing is, you know, I admit that it's true. I have a lot of near misses when he's in the car with me, but when he's not around, I'm a perfectly fine driver. And I argue that it's his very presence that distracts me. And so I would like to prove to him that I'm a good driver, but the thing is, I need a way to prove it without him actually being there.
Well, I mean, you know, how many accidents have you had? How long have you been driving, roughly?
Oh, well, now.
10 years or more?
10 years or more, yes.
Okay, that's good enough.
Okay.
How many accidents have you had in those 10 years?
One.
How bad was it?
It was totaled.
You totaled a car. How'd you do that?
it was a wet day, and there were 5 cars that all hit each other in front of me, and I was the 6th car.
Oh, and you were tailgating.
Yeah, not my fault.
Yeah, if you were tailgating, it was your fault.
Well, but so are the other guys. Yeah, no, those accidents happen all the time because people don't realize they're tailgating until they get written up for it.
Exactly.
How many moving violations have you had in those, let's say, the last 10 years?
Oh, I was hoping we weren't going to go down this road.
Well, we've got to go down the road. We've got to find out if he's right.
Don't forget, you called us.
Yeah, I mean, have you got something to hide here?
Well, let's put it this way. I've never had a violation while he's been in the car with me.
But
that wasn't the question.
That wasn't the question. You're claiming that you're a good driver when he's not in the car. He wasn't with you in the car when you totaled the damn car, was he?
No.
And he wasn't with you in the car when you got all those speeding tickets.
Well, no, they weren't speeding tickets.
What were they?
Well, we have this thing here in Virginia where the red light takes a picture of you when you go through it.
How many of those did you get, Sue? Oh,
It's not going as I expected.
This is not going. Well, Sue.
I got 2 or 3 of them when I first moved to Virginia
2 or 3
5 years ago, and
7.
I haven't gotten one since.
Okay, so you got 7 of them.
Yeah. But, okay, I think this should only cover the span of time when I've been dating him for 4 years, and I haven't had one while I've been dating him.
Well, I mean, it could well be that he's responding to various clues that you're passing on, like going through red lights.
Well, I think it's more of a sort of tree falling in the forest, but no one can hear it sort of problem.
I think it's a clear case of denial.
So you're taking his side.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I
don't know. I don't know, Sue.
Are you a yacker?
A yacker?
Yeah, you talk a lot. I mean, when someone's in the car with you.
You know, it's just the opposite. My boyfriend is a big talker, and I enjoy.
People do that
doing.
when they're scared. You ever sit next to someone on a plane who's afraid of flying? They don't shut up till the plane's on the ground.
But when he accuses you of being a bad driver, does he give specific instances? I mean, does he say, "My God, didn't you see that?" And you say, "See what?" Or he says, "My God, there's a car." Does he scream a lot?
Yeah, those phrases sound pretty familiar.
I think, Sue, you know what?
Yes.
I think we have to talk to him.
You do?
You know his number?
I do know his number.
We're going to take you off the air for a minute. We're going to get your number to our crack assistant producer.
All right.
Louis the Barbarian Cronin.
What's his name?
His name is Greg.
Greg, G-R-E-G.
Yes.
All right. We'll try to get him on the line. Hold on, if you will.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, give us his number. Go ahead. Okay. Got it.
He's going to be so happy that you're siding with him.
Well,
Yeah.
we're not siding
No,
with
we
him.
wanna
We're
hear
simply in the fact-finding stage. We call this in the legal profession discovery. Discovery! And we've discovered that you're crazy.
All right.
Hang on.
Hang on.
This is Greg.
Hey, Greg. This is Tom and Ray from Car Talk.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We're doing great. You know, we have on the line with us your girlfriend, Sue.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. She claims that you've been on her case about her driving.
Well, I don't know if I've necessarily been on her case. A few friendly encouragements, I would say.
Like what? I mean, we try to probe a little bit. I mean, here's the situation.
She wants to prove to you that she's a good driver, and you seem to be unwilling to believe that in her estimation.
Well, I'd have to say that I'm probably more concerned for her safety than her actual driving technique.
What kinds of things does she do? Is my question.
I mean, it's little things, you know. It's like if she's trying to pass somebody or she's coming up on somebody that's going very slowly, she'll wait until she's all the way up on them and then realize that she needs to move around them. And so we come way up on people, and then she's looking over her shoulder.
Yeah.
And there was also, I don't know if she mentioned, there was a brief little amount of time where she got a number of red light tickets.
Yes,
running.
she did happen to mention that. We had to probe a little bit to get it out of her, but then she gave it up, as
She
we
only
say.
she only admitted to 9 of them. First she said it was 3, and then
Yeah.
you know, we finally.
Well, that's I think all I ever heard was 3 too. So you got more than I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, she
But
was.
are you terrified when you get in the car? Tell the truth, because she can't hear us. She's on hold on another line.
Am I terrified?
Yeah.
Probably not. But do I have my moments of terror? Yeah.
Sure.
So you tell us the truth. I mean, you're pretty much scared to death to get in the car.
All right, I'll cave.
So you
Sue, did you hear that?
Hey, honey.
Sue, you think that you're better when Greg's not in the car.
Absolutely.
What makes you think that? I mean, we have no evidence to support that. Like, Greg just corroborated that you tailgate. I accused you of tailgating when you totaled your car.
But it's a vicious circle now.
Greg wasn't with you when you totaled your car.
We're ganging up on you, Sue.
We're ganging up on you, Sue. You're a lousy, stinking driver.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think it might be a genetic element, because my mom told me once that she always has a hard time driving with someone else in the car because she's talking.
Someone else has got nothing to do with it.
No, it does have it has a lot to do with it. I drive better when I'm alone. At least there's no one to scream at me when I'm alone.
Exactly.
I don't believe that.
No.
You don't. My brother does not drive better when he's alone because he has admitted driving 100 miles an hour when he's alone. He says, "Of course, I wouldn't do this when my wife was in the car."
I've never driven 100.
Yes, you have. I was with you.
See? It was.
Oh man.
No.
I happen to think. I mean, you may be.
It was on a racetrack.
You may be worse when Greg is around, but I personally think, Sue, that you're a stinko driver. You know, I hate to say it, but the way you drive reminds me of my sister. But I'm glad you called, and I think you just called us because you wanted to get this off your chest, Sue.
I think so, too.
And I think deep down inside you knew that you were a bad driver.
Wasn't this a wonderful,
this was a cathartic
it was a cathartic experience for you, Sue.
Yeah.
And
Now you can admit it openly. You are a stinko driver, and it is time to shape up.
I promise to turn over a new leaf.
I hope you do.
Thanks for being a good
Sue,
sport.
You're a good sport.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Greg.
Hey, thanks to you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Well, you've wasted an otherwise perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug, the subway fugitive, not a slave to fashion, bongo boy, Pumpkin Lips, Frogman, soon-to-be Surfer Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David, the Calves of Belleville Green, and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug, the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our engineer is John Cartman Perotti. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman, and our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from his crowd-pleasing cakewalk at the Côte d'Azur, Coco Van, and Cocoa Puffs Cotillion, John Pugsy Lawler. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Margin Overa. Our customer care representative is Haywood Jabuzzoff. Our director of roadway resurfacing is Sylvia Potholy. Our staff errand boy is Hugo Fermi. And our solicitor of new ideas is Obi Quiet. Our sexual harassment investigator is Hank Pankey. Our meteorologist from the New Delhi office is Luke Otovindo. Our eBay specialist is Selma Junkoff. Our head of covert operations is Dinah Tell. And our Russian chauffeur is Peekoff and Dropoff. Our curator of Dionne Warwick studies is Isaiah Lilprayer. And our seat cushion tester is Mike Easter. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe is Hugh Lewis Dewey, known to the not-yet-discovered percussion prodigies banging pots and pans in Harvard Square as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and don't drive like my brother.
Don't drive like my brother either.
We'll be back next week. We hope. Bye-bye. You can get a podcast of this show, which is number 1641. Subscribe to our weekly podcast and check out our Taste Challenge clothing and best of collections all over at cartalk.com. Also this week at cartalk.com. Want to ditch your old car before winter arrives and you find yourself stranded in a snowbank surrounded by hungry moose? Donate your old car to this station. You'll get a tax break and the station gets the proceeds. Check out the Car Talk Vehicle Donation Program. Details are at cartalk.com.
Car Talk is a production of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though butchers everywhere cast sideways glances at their meat cleavers whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.